Want to learn more about your true nature? Check out the many interviews and short videos produced by our friends at ispirit.us. Like their page at facebook.com/ispirit.dotus and browse through their many posts and be inspired by the wonderful and positive messages about life that they share with their community. If you would like to study the works of Spiritism and delve deeper into this philosophy that will be guaranteed to enrich your life by teaching you about the greater life, check out ediseiofamerica.com. At ediseiofamerica.com you can find all of the seminal works of Spiritism written and compiled by Allan Kardec, translated from its original French to English, as well as other Spiritist works that serve to add to the immaterial treasure that is the Spiritist philosophy and doctrine. As one of our subscribers and followers, be sure to use promo code ispirit_love to get 10% off from your next purchase and continue to support this beautiful work of dissemination. ispirit_love to get 10% off from your next purchase. Thank you. Well, hello everyone, welcome back to our studies, and today we're going to be talking about a small section entitled The Soul in Chapter 3 of the book, What is Spiritism? And item 108 asks the question, where is the seat of the soul? In other words, where is its focal point? Where is it centrally located? And the answer is, the soul is not, as is generally believed, located in any one part of the body. Of course not. How can something that is immaterial be imprisoned in any organ or in any specific location, geographically speaking, within our constitution? That is illogical to think, or to ponder, or to assume. After all, what can we assume? We know nothing. We know very, very little. Along with the perispirit, it forms a fluidic, penetrable whole, assimilating the entire body, with which it comprises a complex being, and from which death is no more than a sort of split. So basically we can imagine the soul being a fluidic or a spiritual essence with tentacles, for the lack of a better term, that stretches out towards every single part and section of the body. It controls and manifests itself via the intermediary of the perispirit, and thus by manifesting itself and thinking what it wants, the perispirit is allowing it to connect to the physical body, and thus the physical body will then follow through with the determined action. And that's how we have movements, that's how we have our talk, our speech, our vision, everything. The soul is essentially controlling everything at once. And the soul is who we are. We are not our current identity. We are a millenary spirit that has gone through various successive existences. So we are a soul that is very wealthy and rich with a lot of history. But we are indeed incarcerated temporarily in this physical vessel. But it does not mean that we are incarcerated in a specific place, as I had said, and as the spirits tell us. We are indeed driving this vehicle, if you will, and we have access as spirits to every single function of this vehicle. And it is through our actions, through the buttons that we touch, the wheels that we steer, that the physical vehicle, the vessel, does performs its function. So along with the perispirit, it forms a fluidic penetrable whole, assimilating the entire body, with which it comprises a complex being, and from which death is no more than a sort of split. So since the soul is something that existed prior to the body, it will exist after the body. So when the body is no more, it is nothing more than a separation that occurs, a separation from which the soul is then liberated from this temporary incarceration, and it is then allowed to continue forth in its spiritual progression, and perhaps will come back in another body in a future existence, in the same place or in a different place, in the same ethnic group or in a different ethnic group, in the same religion or a different religion, same color or a different color. There are so many possibilities. They are endless. One may visualize two like bodies interpenetrating each other, joined during life and separated after death. In death, one is destroyed while the other remains. So it is this constant integration, this interconnection that occurs between the soul and the physical body. And once that is severed, the physical body returns to its source, meaning the earth, via whatever burial method it might follow, and the spirit is free to then continue on in its journey, its immortal journey rather. During life, the soul acts more specially upon the organs of thought and sentiment. It is simultaneously internal and external. That is, it radiates outward. It can even leave the body, travel far, and manifest its presence somewhere else, as observation and somnambulistic phenomena have shown. So because the soul is not, as I had mentioned, incarcerated in any one place in the body, it can radiate itself outwards. For example, during prayer, when we have what in religion is called a rapture, or when we have this ecstasy, this ecstatic feeling during a prayer where we feel this deep connection, our soul is expanding outwards and we are penetrating this divine frequency that allows us to feel this inner peace, this connection with divinity. And the same occurs, for example, when we sleep. The body, the physical vessel is asleep, but the spirit continues. It doesn't need to rest, it doesn't need to sleep. So then yes, it'll separate itself temporarily before the body awakens again, but it's not a complete split or a complete separation, because if that were to occur, then essentially the body would die and the spirit would be free of the body. No, it is a temporary separation, and the spirit or the soul is still linked to the body. And if there should be a need for the body to wake up, the spirit or the soul sense it and it would immediately return to the body during sleep, wake up for whatever particular reason it needs to wake up. But it does occur during sleep, hence the dreams that we have. Sometimes we have dreams that seem like a reality, like it really happened, and potentially it truly did, or for the most part it probably happened, especially if it was very vivid. It meant that our spirit went somewhere and we had a specific experience that felt like it was a real experience, and it is imprinted in us when we come back and we have a slight or faint memory of what occurred. And that's because our spirit is liberated during the sleep, during the moment when the body rests and recovers for the next day. So this is what essentially means this temporary separation, the fact that it can radiate itself outwards. There are also other means with which the soul radiates itself outwards, but that's more in line with a more advanced study and a more detailed study of the Spiritist doctrine, to which we will not, touch upon in this video. Question 109 asks, is the soul created at the same time as the body or before? Well, since we've already talked about how the spirit is a millenary spirit and has come through many successive existences, we can infer then that yes, it exists before the body. That is a very easy answer to deduce from whatever we have already mentioned in the past in other videos and from what we've already alluded to. So we will skip this question and go to the next one. If you want to read more about it, get the book and look at question 109 in chapter 3 of What is Spiritism. So question 110 asks, if the soul exists prior to the body, then before its union with the body, did it possess its individuality and self-awareness? Again, talking about the same subject. Without it, the answer is without individuality and self-awareness, the results would be the same, as if it had not existed in the first place. So, obviously, we all have a particular set of traits, a particular set of tendencies, and these display to us that we have lived in the past. There are inclinations and interests and affinities that we have, and those cannot be something that were just initiated out of nothing. There must be an antecedent or antecedents that led us to be who we are today. And essentially that's what this means. The soul has lived other existences in the past, and the soul has formed progressively the individuality, the rich personality that we have today. That is not what the IDs that we carry in our pockets today say we are, but rather the spiritual and immortal IDs that we carry within the archive of the immortal spirit that we are says we are. We are this wonderful divine being We are gods with a lowercase g because we have the divine gene within us. We have his signature because we were created in the image of the Father. We were created by him. Thus, yes, we are immortal spirits. Our souls exist before the physical body and will continue to exist after the physical body. Question 111 asks, prior to its union with the body, had the soul achieved any progress or had it been stationary? Again, talking about the same subject. And the answer is the fact of the soul's prior progress is both the consequence of observation of the phenomena in the Spirit's teachings. We've talked about this already, so I'm not going to add to this. This is a good way to wrap it up. Question 112 asks, did God create all souls morally and intellectually equal, or did God create some more perfect and intelligent than others? And the answer says, if God had created some souls more perfect than others, such favoritism would not be compatible with God's justice. Since all are God's creatures, why would God exempt some from labor while imposing it on others in order to achieve eternal happiness? The inequality of souls at their origin would be a negation of God's justice. And this is just the truth. So why would God favor some and give more to some than others? Why would others lack while others gain? God would not do such a thing. We were all created at the same level, but then our choices, our free will, took us to where we are today. Hence why there is all this inequality, because we have traveled and traversed different journeys, different paths to get to where we are today. It's as simple as that. It is not God who put us where we are today. It is the actions of our past deeds that placed us where we are today. There's a big difference. The education comes from the divine laws that try to realign us and correct us to where we need to go. This is very important. And that's why we can never blame God for whatever is going on in our lives. We cannot blame God for our current situation. The only person we can blame is ourselves. We are not victims. We are the actual architects of our current structure of existence. Question 113 asks, if all souls are created equal, how can the diversity of aptitudes and natural predisposition among Earth's humankind be explained? This diversity is the consequence of the progress the soul accomplished before its union with the body. We had talked about this already. Souls more advanced in intelligence and morality are those who lived longer and progressed more prior to their incarnation. So we see this in individuals whom we label geniuses. Individuals who are very talented in the arts. These are clearly spirits who have come through other means, in other words, have traversed different paths where they had existences where they focus on that particular talent or set of skills. And in this existence, they come already knowing all of this information and are easily able to manifest their talent via whatever instrument they find themselves using in this existence. It is very simple to understand. It is a perfect logical solution to why we have so much talent on earth, so much creativity, so many geniuses. Those young prodigies, those kids who excel at everything. It is easy to ascertain why that is when we believe in the greater life. And Spiritism teaches all that and gives us an answer to this. How is it that someone's child is so intelligent and able to pick up on math so easily? How is it that a 5-year-old kid can play the piano as if he had played the piano for his whole entire life? Well, that is because he has, but not in this existence, in a past existence. It's as simple as that. Question 114 asks, what is the state of the soul at its origin? And the answer is, souls are created simple and ignorant, that is, without knowledge or an understanding of good and evil, but with an equal aptitude for all things. So in other words, we're all created the same, but we all have the same possibilities. We all have the same possibilities. But our choices and the free will with which we are endowed is what creates the differences and the inequalities. At their beginning, they are in a sort of infancy, with neither their own will nor perfect awareness of their existence. little by little, their free will develops along with their ideas. We can talk more about this, but it is a long subject, so I'll leave this short answer as it is. And if you want to research more about it, read the works. Question 115 asks, did the soul accomplish its previous progress in the soul state per se, or in a previous corporeal existence? And the answer is, besides the Spirit's teachings regarding this point, the study of the different degrees of humans' advancement on the earth demonstrates that the soul's previous progress must have been accomplished over a series of corporeal existences that varied in number according to the degree they have reached. Such deduction is the result of having observed the phenomena occurring before our eyes every day. And that is a wonderful way to summarize what we've already discussed in this section. I hope you found it informative, and I'll see you here for the next section of Chapter 3 of What is Spiritism. Thank you so much.